Actually not working. What else did he say? We should probably pull the lyrics up. Give me 1 second. Kendrick Lamar 616. By the way, also him hijacking Drake's time scheme, style. Like he literally hijacked Kendrick's timestamp style with the 616 and oh, man. Yo, I ain't gonna lie if some of these things are coincidences or what. Let me see. Apparently, I thought it was Soundwave that did the production. They're saying, it's Soundwave and some other guy named Jack Antonoff, which is Taylor Swift's producer. So people are saying this is tailor-made. Yo, before I do that, man, I don't know why this nigga Rick Ross is so funny to me, bro. Like, I don't know why this nigga is so funny to me, dog. Yo, this nigga, every time this nigga posts BBL Drizzy, I hear it in his voice, and he always got it in hella bold caps. He posted a meme, he said, yo, a second diss has hit the tower. Hilarious. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Ross, you're funny. Okay. All right. Let's get through these lyrics. Okay. So basically he starts this whole intro, and I think we've all heard the song, right? If we haven't heard the song, it's probably worth playing the song one more time, right? Okay, let's get into these lyrics. All right. Off-white Sunseeker at the marina. Fuck a phantom. I would like to buy yachts when I get the fever. Oh, shit. It's actually the first time I ever even heard Kendrick like talking about splurging like that. It probably has a deeper meaning. Let's see. There's a whole little annotation here. Seeking the sun is done in attempts to tan your skin. He's dissing Drake, saying Drake trying to catch a tan, trying to be black. Off-white Sunseeker at the marina. Fuck a phantom. I like to buy yachts when I get the fever. Wine coolers spill on my white t-shirt. The sightseer. Trifecta. Money, morals, and culture. That's my leisure. My visa. Passport tatted. I show up in Ibiza. Lucali's dwelling in Brooklyn just to book me some pizza. Oh, there's a Brooklyn pizza. Oh, this nigga is on this Keith Lee shit. Lucali is a Brooklyn pizzeria? Ah. Yeah, this nigga's like Keith Lee now, bro. Who could reach us? Only God could teleport this type of freedom. God, my confession is yours, but who am I if I don't go to war? Ooh. There's opportunity when living with loss. I discover myself when I fall short. Raise my hand to the fallen sky. I fantasize. Me jumping planets immortalized. I correspond. 3 angels watching me all the time. I put my children to sleep with prayer, then close my eyes. Definition of peace. That's another way I say Kendrick has like this huge, advantage over Drake. His career has always been about like a guy with like these, he's kind of seen like a guy who is very humble to like a higher power. Like he moves off morals, codes, and respect, which seems to guide all his actions, even how he lives. And when you're battling with somebody like that, you know, they could always just kind of shame you for just being a fucking someone who's a thrill seeker, who's, you know what I mean, whether in family life, not being there for your kids or not being there for, or not wifing up a chick, just hopping from girl to girl, or just kind of chasing things that are kind of like vices of the world, if you understand what I mean. Anyway, pleasure seeking, if you will. Put my children to sleep with a prayer, then close my eyes. Definition of peace. He keeps mentioning that peace. Tell me, who gonna stop me? I come from love. Cover my heart, then open me up. Remember when picked up a pen, lyrics I could trust. Timid souls stare in the mirror, asking where I was from. Often, I know this type of power is gonna cost, but I live in a circadian rhythm of a shooting star. The mannerisms of Raphael I could heal, and I could give you art. Ooh, I like this. Circadian rhythms are natural body cycles that control when we wake up and go to sleep, right? Similarly, shooting stars or comets, such as the famous Halley's Comet, follow regular cycles of passing by the Earth, in Halley's case, roughly every 75 years. While Kendrick has the regular consistency of both, his cycle of release of music is not as quick as a daily... Okay. I think the bigger meaning here is that Kendrick just lives pretty much a routine lifestyle, right? Yeah, but once you put the shooting star effect to it, I could imagine, okay, he's probably talking about music. The mannerisms of Raphael, I could heal and give you art. Now, what is he talking about here? So Kendrick incites the name of two Raphaels here. The first is a famed Italian painter and architect who, alongside being widely seen as one of the three great masters of the Renaissance, he was a major inspiration of the art form known as mannerism. Kendrick is stating that alongside being diss tracks, his run of music could be considered genuine art, equivalent to Raphael. The second Raphael is an archangel associated with Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, and is traditionally associated with healing. Kendrick also references the concept of three angels watching over him earlier in the track. The story from the book of Tobit, depicted below, is a painting of Titian, details archangel guiding a young boy, Tobias, who he teaches to be a man before healing his father's blindness. Though the previous lines suggested his diss is coming from love, Kendrick may be suggesting that he has the same intentions for Drake. Say he's trying to heal Drake? What the fuck? But the industry's cook as I pick the carcass apart. Yeah, somebody's lying. I can see the vibes on Ak. Even he looked compromised. Let's peel the layers back. Okay. All right, let me see what annotation they got about me. So Akademiks, often referred to as Ak, is a famous live streamer who covers hip-hop news and news releases. He currently has his own podcast on Spotify. I don't have a podcast on Spotify anymore, but I do have a podcast called Off the Record. And it's constantly live streaming on Rumble. He's been a big fan of Drake throughout the years and his constant communication with him. This was evident during, okay, they're saying a lot of things that you guys know. Okay, they're kind of trying to be accurate. All right, cool. Oh, wait, my bad. Here we go. Oh, okay. All right, let's read this part. Ak has been very active during this beef with constant live streams. However, as a fan, he seems to have taken Drake's side. As in the first diss, Ak's voice is in the reaction. What? Drake uses Ak's voice during his reaction to Like That. That's not my reaction to Like That. It's I think it's Family Ties or one Baby Keem song where you hear Kendrick comes on at the end and he's like, smoking on your top 5 tonight, and he kept saying that. I was like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? You better be clear. Afterwards, Ak puts the pressure immediately on Kendrick to drop. Okay, all right. Someone said, interestingly enough, Kendrick alludes to Akademiks. I'm not in Drake's camp. What the fuck? It alludes to Akademiks being one of the leaks in Drake's camp. A month prior to the release of this, Ak bought a Maybach. And what? This is random. All right, this is random. This is random. Okay. For the record, I am not in Drake's camp. I am not in Drake's camp. I'm a super fan of Drake, that I do think Drake trusts my opinion when he's watching me on stream. That's about it, okay? Of course, I'm involved in media, and that's another thing. But am I in Drake's camp? Like, listen, and even the very hint, by the way, the whole Maybach thing, I was making a joke. I said I killed Meek's career, and these are you got to buy a toy after you just decimated a nigga's career. That was a joke, okay? I make money on my own. Nigga, we got 100,000 people watching. That's how I get paid, okay? Anyway, yeah. So just to clear up for those people who are on Genius trying to like write out whatever. It says, even he look compromised. Let's peel the layers back. Ain't no brownie points will be on your chest. Harassing Ant. Who's Ant? Oh, Ant is the manager of Kendrick. Ain't no brownie points will be on your chest. Harassing Ant. Harassing Ant fucking with good people. Remember when Drake was waiting for Kendrick to respond? He put up a couple pictures of, look, Drake posts Kendrick manager. And look, yeah, he posted, this is Kendrick's manager. He posted Kendrick's manager with OVO gear. And then he also posted him here, and he said, wonder if today is the day. And I think this is a turtle emoji. Basically saying, he was saying, yo, bro, y'all gonna respond, bro? Today's the day. So, you know, I guess Kendrick is reacting to that, saying, yo, harassing my manager is not gonna give you brownie points. You're just fucking with good people at that point. He's like, make good people go to bat. Conspiracies about Cash, dog, that's not even the leak. Find the truths like Cash, dog. I just need you, I just need you to think. Huh. Now, the annotation about that is, you know, referring to Cash from XO when he says Cash blowing Abel bread out here tricking, shit we do for bitches, he doing for niggas, right? By the way, this is a callback to The Weeknd, who said on All to Myself on We Don't Trust You Still, where he says, they could never diss my brother, baby. I don't know why I can't reread this normally, because the nigga sings it. When they got leaks in their operation. And then he said, I thank God never signed my life away. Okay, so The Weeknd was the first person that brought up you have leaks in your camp, right? And we've seen Metro kind of like allude to it, which, by the way, you know, I had Carl Cherry on here, and he basically said that Carl doesn't want to be a part of no coup, no consortium to get rid of Drake. But if they're all basically saying the same thing, I got to imagine somebody sharing information. If The Weeknd is claiming there's leaks in Drake's camp, and also Kendrick is claiming the same, and Metro was making, like, he was alluding to that, I would imagine that they're sharing the leak, whoever the leak is or whatever the leak is, if there is a leak. By the way, I think this is a really also clever way to get Drake on a defensive perspective. We've never seen Drake really on defense, really in a song format. He could have or should have been on defense in the Meek situation, which, by the way, let me pause this and give you a hypothetical. You know, me and Carl were talking yesterday, and I said this. Obviously, if Meek Mill's IQ was a negative 42, right? And he was even competent enough to, like, do basic math and read a sentence without, you know what I mean, like, you know, fucking asking what word this is. Let's change the scenario of the Meek and Drake beef with two parameters, and do we think that Meek's career gets killed, or do we think that Drake wins? Here's the two parameters. And this is one of the reasons I think Drake has always fared well in beef, because he uses this to attack everybody else. Here's the two parameters of Meek. Meek was a formidable rapper, sold 250,000 records first week. Career-wise, he was doing well. What happened, though, is he fucked up by dating a rapper that was more successful than him. And again, I know all this power couple shit, but when you were still a little bit unproven, having a woman who was richer than you, way more successful than you, having more fans than you, that's not a bad thing. But if you're a guy who gets taken care of by your girl, not saying Meek was, but it was an angle that Drake got. yo, my whole diss to you is that you need to go ask your girl for permission. It's a world tour or girl tour. Like, a lot of those disses were basically dissing him for being like some beta male being with Nicki. So if he's not with Nicki, I actually feel like that neutralized a huge angle that Drake actually attacked him with. So I actually do believe him being with Nicki hurt him in that battle, right? The second thing was, and this is the epitome of why Meek Mill is, as I said, negative 73 IQ. Because I was thinking about an angle that Kendrick has. And I was like, if Kendrick brings up ghostwriting again, will it work? Because we've heard it before. And notoriously, the first person who brought up ghostwriting was Meek, and he got his ass whipped. Let's change this parameter too. So there's no Nicki, and if Meek only brings up the thought of ghostwriting when he exposes Drake per se on a song, rather than tweeting it 2 weeks before, the nigga tweeted his biggest ammo. It's like right now we see Kendrick keeping it close to the chest. What he really has in terms of ammo only lets it out on a song. Same with Drake. They're basically teasing it. They're not going to tweet out their biggest. That's the dumbest shit Meek ever did. That nigga just tweeted out the biggest ammo. If he had just dropped out of the blue a song getting at Drake, and we find out on said song about all these reference tracks and ghostwriting shit, it might hit different. It might hit different. Let's be honest. That might hit different. Then you get rid of the Nicki angle. I think that might be a different beef. If you get what I'm saying. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I actually think that those two parameters were I won't say a misstep, because being in a relationship isn't a misstep, but I do think one of the reasons why you can't tie Drake to any woman, except I guess maybe his baby mama, you never see him in an actual relationship, is because when he starts getting at a nigga, the first thing he does is get at your girl, or he gets at the girl that seems to be, you know, your love interest at the time, or your wife. Like, that's kind of like his MO. And he kind of even tried to do it with Kendrick, right? Anyway, bet. Let's get back into these lyrics, right? All right, so where were we at? Cool. It's right after he mentioned me. It's somebody's line, I can see the vibes on Ak. Even he looked compromised. Let's peel the layers back. Ain't no brownie points will be on your chest for harassing ant. Fucking with good people. Make good people go to bat. Conspiracies about Cash Dog, that's not even a leak. Which, by the way, would make sense that Drake might think, you know, that line right there, that's where the leak is. Because here's the thing. Remember I told y'all, right? We have XO. Like, Weeknd don't like Drake. Like, come on. They don't like each other, right? Drake fucked one of Weeknd's ex or something like that. All type of bullshit, right? Weeknd don't like Drake. Cash is the manager of XO. XO is the Weeknd. What I told y'all before is that when you get to the bottom of the totem pole with these guys, you get a bunch of like street guys or guys who are like, you know, from certain parts in Toronto, and they actually mix. Like, those guys all hang out. So the OVO, like, street level guys, if you want to call them that, hangs out with some of the XO street level guys. If I'm Drake, I would be thinking that's where the leak is coming from. Some of my, like, mans is hanging with their mans. Maybe they're saying certain shit about what's going on over here. So it's kind of normal if Drake did think that the leak was coming through there, then through Cash, then the Weeknd says some shit. Now we got Kendrick saying it, but we have Kendrick basically saying that's not the leak, okay? So the conspiracies about Cash Dog, that's not the leak, okay? Find the truths like Cash Dog, which, by the way, I didn't catch this reference yet. I just need you to think. And this is why this record is kind of hard, because it's really like, this is Jigsaw. This is like a Jigsaw. You ever watch the start of like any Saw movie? This is kind of how it comes across. Are you finally ready to play Have You Ever? Well, let's see. Have you ever thought that OVO was working for me? Fake bully. I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person. Now, this to me is too specific for Drake not to, for Drake not to immediately know, number one, it's complete cap, or know wait, this guy really knows some shit, right? Because, look, he says, right after he says, have you ever thought that OVO was working for me? Fake bully. I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it. Now, I got to imagine today Drake is probably taking a very close inspection of people he's worked with, people who will be knowing certain shit. And again, we're talking about intimate details. We're not talking about some shit like act level shit. Like, only thing I would know about Drake is music shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know nothing about him. Hey, are you dropping today? No. Okay, cool. That's it, nigga. Gotta be some people who've been around, seen some shit, probably know certain things. And if I'm Drake, he has to be trying to, if it's remotely true, try to connect what level of access that person could have to him. Keep in mind, you have Kendrick who's naming some of these things from your hometown. He's naming, oh, you got ab surgery. Hey, he's naming some of the writers. He's naming a lot of things that you have to look around and say, who would know all this shit if there's only one leak, right? But also, then he has to probably second guess because, and this is what I think Kendrick he's flipped the script, or he's tried to successfully on Drake, right? He's like, everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it. So now, like, you got to think about it. If I'm Drake, I'm like, yo, who the fuck think I deserve to lose to this fuck nigga? Like, you know what I mean? When Kendrick name come up, any nigga who got anything positive to say about that nigga got to get fired, right? Somebody says, then he says, can Tussie slide up out of this one? It's going to resurface. I don't think that bar goes that much deeper than, Tussie Slide was that popular song. Right foot up, left foot slide, right? He says, every dog got to have his day, now living your purpose. It was fun until you start to put money in the streets. Then lost money because they came back with no receipts. I'm sorry that I live a boring life. I love peace. But war ready if the world is ready to see you bleed. And by the way, this is after on Euphoria, he says, why would I call around to get dirt on niggas? Y'all think my life is rap? And by the way, remember Pusha T? He was talking about Drake allegedly having 100K looking for info, right? Pusha T had tweeted, you got 100K floating around for info? Can't no amount of money create skeletons that don't exist. I think also Pusha T did an interview with Joe Budden where he was saying that Drake was trying to do that. Pusha T, Drake, information, let me see. And by the way, this kind of this goes back to like this whole leak situation. It goes back to this whole leak situation where Pusha T was talking about how he found out information. Drake most famously blamed Kanye for giving that information to Pusha T. According to Drake, I just went to work with Kanye. I told him about a kid I just found out about, showed him pictures of the kid. I wrote 30 hours for him. I leave, and 2 weeks later, his man is dissing me. And then once I respond to his man, he then drops a track basically giving the information that it's playing telephone. I only told it to you, Kanye. But according to Pusha T, he said that wasn't the case. Let's see if we could play some of this.
I don't have an icebreaker question, Push.
It was very biased, and you didn't even try to camouflage the biasness.
Maul's right.
Let's see where this one goes.
It's going to Maul's question that he asked earlier. Every nigga would hear it and say,
during my press run, it's like, oh man, okay, we at it.
For that,
bro.
Y'all thought y'all was just gonna put y'all shit out and that was gonna be the end.
Who begins to,
Oh, here we go. This is him talking about how he got the information. Now, I can't tell if they're putting this out to fuck with Drake. Are they putting this info out to fuck with Drake? Be like, yo. And also, is Kendrick saying, because he goes later into the bars by saying, one of them is actually next to you. Now, there's only a few people we would identify as being next to Drake. One would be Chubbs. We always like Chubbs is the right-hand man, right? But when it comes to music, 40 is the producer who's worked exclusively and extensively, for the most part, with Drake. They have came up together. Shoot, actually, even when Drake talked about why he, when he was talking about the lack of response and how he felt things went over the line, remember Drake saying he went on The Shop, Drake, The Shop, Pusha T, and he was saying how he felt disrespected when Pusha T mentioned OVO 40, right? Let me see. Is it this
that exists like that? 3, 4, 10 years. You know what? Like, it's just not. It's not. It just is what it is. There's a point where you're gonna want to stop rapping. I'm sure I could say something.
Okay. Here we go.
So
Drake is explaining why he didn't keep responding to Pusha T.
Presenting that to the world.
Years. You know what? Like, it's just not. It's over. It's over the fact that we're from the same city, or it's over. I was able to. To mend a lot of those situations. A lot of people ask me like, "Yo, why? Like, why are you doing this? Why would you do it?" And I wanted my closest friends to know that it's for me. It's got a lot to do with me. It's not a fun life when you're like just in a lot of beefs with people. You got to check on who's going to be at an event. You start moving different. You start, I was changing. I was changing as a person, becoming a guy that was, definitely willing to do some terrible things, definitely moving with a different energy. And, like I said, it's just not a fun life when you have to just look over your shoulder all the time, or wonder, all right, if this goes left, which one of my friends is gonna go sit for 2, 3, 4, 10 years? It's just not. It's not a good way to live. In that particular situation that you're talking about, don't know. I have no desire to ever mend anything with that person. And that situation just went, it just went where it went, and it's just there's no turning back. It's not like those other situations that you mentioned.
Did Pusha go too far by revealing the child and presenting that to the world?
Well, I'll say this. I tip my hat to the chess move. I mean, it was a genius play in the game of chess. And definitely, warranted my first quote unquote, loss in the competitive sport of rapping. By choice, obviously, because I bowed out after realizing like the gap between us allowed him to drop, a bomb on the world that really became, that was all anyone cared about. I sleep well at night knowing I didn't get outbarred and I didn't get, dunned off by some crazy song it was just, he told the world that the biggest artist at the time has a kid that he hasn't told you about. So I knew kind of for me it was over at that point. It wasn't even about battle rap or any of that. It was just the information was too shocking. It was, like I said, it was on his part, it was a genius chess move. He obviously has no when it comes to me, he's not gonna have any morals or respect. So the other elements of the record.
That's also interesting. This is also very interesting because when Drake was talking in Post about Pusha T, he talked about maybe a particular invisible line that you wouldn't cross, and he calls it morals and respect. And I think this is where he's going to get into the 40 stuff. But it's ironic because possibly to beat Kendrick in a battle, he might have to cross those very same lines. Even though when you listen to Kendrick's like that, he said, DOT, the money, power, respect. And he says the last one was some line about that. Basically saying that was the important shit. He's the one touting in this beef or this battle about respect. I think he even says it in here, right? He says something about it. Let me see. Whatever. Anyway. No, I think he said morals. He said morals or something of the sort. Okay. Anyway, let me just finish this, and then I'm gonna get back to the Pusha T thing, and then we get back to the Kendrick lines.
Whether it be like just like the shit that he's making up about my mom and my dad and all this like dumb shit, or you know, obviously the part that hit me the most, which is like, you know, wishing like that my friend that has an illness like dies. Like that shit to me is just not really wavy. Like I'm just not really with that. Like, and when I did say, oh, there's rules to this, I didn't mean there's rules that anybody has to follow. But like in battle rap, you know, they just headshotted that guy the other day because he was on stage and he pulled out a picture of the guy's dead aunt and started rapping about, you know, that type of shit. And it just is what it is. There's a point where you're gonna want to stop rapping. I'm sure I could say something about, you know, your lovely lady or, you know, a child or a family member, and you're just gonna want to not really rap anymore. Yeah, so that's just kind of where I got to. It's just I just had to admit, like, yo, I'm really, you know, and when I was making the record in Response, which was a real record, I know people think it's like some myth. It was like on his Vinyls beat, and I just found myself saying things that like one seemed really out of character, just because I was like deeply invested in the situation and getting very angry, and saying things that I don't know if in 2 years I'd want to hear myself say, and yeah, I just realized that like
I don't think Drake shares all these same sentiments now. I feel like this is a war-tested and also a man who has gone and seen he's seen the battlefield of how nasty it could be, and I don't think he's having these same type of thoughts anymore.
Like nobody cares about this guy, so it's not really much I can say better than Drake has a baby. He won, you know, he won off that bomb, you know, and so again, you know. It's a dub that, like, you know, he could take it.
Was that true that you wanted to reveal the child with Adidas campaign and things like that?
I wasn't. At the time I was working with Adidas, and we were toying with the idea of a name being a play off of a name, off of my son's name. I wasn't revealing my son with Adidas, or like I wasn't gonna have my son like, you know, fucking, right. But yeah, no, I was just, you know, to be honest with you, I actually did a DNA test for my son, and they came back to us and they said that the DNA test got ruined in transit, and that they couldn't be 100%.
Okay. Now, when you mentioned my friend, he was talking about OVO 40. Which ironically, and I don't know if Pusha meant this or he's saying this to fuck with Drake, basically almost saying the same guy who you basically said it went too far because I mentioned him, he was selling you out. Which, that's crazy. And I don't believe it's true, but shit, what more to kind of try to fuck with Drake and put like a little bug in his ear? Put that in perspective with how people have been trying to accuse Drake of living, hey, you're going from woman to woman, you're fucking every new hot IG girl, this and third. Inevitably, what people are saying that Metro might be mad at him for about, or yeah, pillow talking, whatever the case is, maybe Drake's own secrets have came from, hey, listen, that type of lifestyle that leads to pillow talking or divulging information, whether knowingly or unknowingly, to women who basically are for the streets, and they will end up somehow linking or sleeping with the opposition, and that opposition will find value in the information much more than just entertainment from that lady. Because what he's describing is, hey, your man's just smashing some random chick and basically thinking that she's a nobody, so he could share and confide certain things because that's what's going on in his world, except she clearly fucks with somebody or comes around and repeats that, probably thinking seamlessly, which, by the way, this is very true. This is kind of how things happen. Sorry.
With that, how he's disgruntled about certain...
So we're back at the whole thing. Let's go back to Kendrick bars about moles, which is a mole in the camp. There is a leak. There's a leaky faucet that's giving away